going on, Jerome's Minnesota Vikings defense corner Brian Flores has done the damn thing over the last couple seasons with the Vikings defense, turned them into one of the best, if not the best, units in the National Football League, and unleashing hell, blitzing the bejesus out of people, getting pressures, getting sacks, and all that stuff. And the defense has been a major reason why the Vikings have been in a lot of these games as of late. And just thank you, Brian Flores, for doing it. And Flores, as you know, was a disciple of Bill Belichick, coming up through the Patriots organization after playing some college ball at Boston College. And then he got the Dolphins job and for 3 seasons, had some decent success, but the connection just wasn't there between him and Tua, which, you know, what we saw. And of course, there was a disconnect between Flores and ownership, as evidenced by the discrimination lawsuit, and that goes beyond the Dolphins as well. It goes with the entire league. So there's a lot of factors going in there. But the success that Flores has had with the Vikings, you can't ignore it, right? And Flores, first off, it was ridiculous that Flores didn't get a single head coaching interview last offseason for what he did with the Vikings defense. But now the defense is so damn good that the league simply cannot ignore it, and he should and could get another shot to be a head coach, although selfishly, hope he sticks around Minnesota. Long story longer, ESPN, Flores was on a podcast with Schefter, and this is a good write-up here from Kevin Seifert, who's not Cargo Schmidt. Vikings defense coordinator Brian Flores says he would love to be an NFL head coach again. Vikings DC, Flores left no doubt Tuesday as the NFL's head coaching carousel ramps up this winter. He wants to be part of it. Quote, look, there's only 32 of these jobs. Well, 30 because he's not getting the Vikings job. And he's definitely not going back to the Dolphins, so it's 30. So I would certainly want to be a head coach in this league again, Flores said on the Adam Schefter podcast. The Vikings defense ranks numero uno in the NFL based on DVOA, making Flores one of the NFL's top-performing assistant coaches this season. But before speaking to Schefter, Flores had left questions about his future largely unaddressed since his controversial ouster as a Miami Dolphins coach after the 2021 season. I like all the speculation. Is like, what was Flores offered a bribe to lose games, and Flores just like, no. Kind of like that. Speaking Tuesday to Schefter, Flores said there exists a public misconception of his time with the Dolphins. Quote, I think a lot of people view the Miami experience as if I see it as all negative, end quote. He said, I really don't. I think it was a great experience for me and my family. There's so much that I learned during my time that's made me a much, much better coach today, better in a lot of areas. And just in reflecting on that time, there's things that obviously I would like to do better, but there's a lot of things that I would continue to implement. But it wasn't all negative. Obviously, there were some things I would have done better, but I thought it was a great experience, and I've really, really come out of it in a positive way and excited about where I am now. I really learned a lot from it. Flores has spoken often this season about the football and social comfort zone he has found here in Minnesota, and joked with Schefter on Tuesday that his family might put up some resistance to moving away. But for me personally, he said, I think being a head coach is something I would love to do again. And Flores has talked at length about how Minnesota has really embraced him and his family. They're very comfortable here. He's part of a great team with the Vikings, and a team that's going to be together for a while, which is going to be great. And Flores has talked about before that he has earned the right to be picky. Right? He doesn't want another Miami situation again, and that crumbled for a myriad of reasons. And Flores, he's not just going to take a job to take a job. Now, here's the thing, like, when jobs come open, generally it's because the organization needs some shine, whether it's at the quarterback spot, GM, ownership, everything, right? And usually you can't check all the boxes for a job, and you just take it because it's one of the 30. But Flores has seen what happens when ownership, the team, and everyone else is not on the same page, right? But some openings. So there are 2 open right now, with the Jets firing Rob Saleh as well as the Saints firing Dennis Allen. And then there's a couple of jobs that could and should be open. The Bears are probably punting on Eberflus. Dallas is definitely getting rid of McCarthy. Indianapolis, could Shane Steichen be a 2 and done? I don't know. Jacksonville with Doug, that's almost over. I don't want Antonio Pierce to be a 1 and done with the Raiders, but it could be. The Giants are probably moving on from Daboll, and then the Buccaneers, I don't know. Like, Todd Bowles has done a very good job with the Buccaneers, but it just isn't there. this year. So of those jobs, the Jets, they don't have a quarterback in place. Rodgers probably retiring. They do have they are looking at a top 10 draft pick. GM Joe Douglas, aka White Sugar Knight's probably gone, and then you got Woody Johnson, who is kind of known as a not great owner. And then you got the Saints. I mean, with the Benson Family Trust, and Mickey Loomis has been GM there for a while. I mean, that team's a mess with the salary cap, and plus you got Derek Carr. So screw that one. So that basically takes away both jobs that are open. Jobs that are going to be open. So the Bears, interesting because you do have Caleb Williams. You do have some nice pieces on defense. Ryan Poles, I don't know if he's going to be long for the job. And the McCaskey family, not like the free spending owners of some other teams. We'll just say that. Speaking of free spending owners, the Cowboys, but then you have all the issues with the Cowboys. Jura is the de facto GM. You do have Dak in place, and for all of Dak's faults, like he is a top 12-ish quarterback, so you have something there. You do have CeeDee Lamb. You have Micah Parsons and Diggs and Lawrence on defense. So yeah, Indianapolis. I mean, we'll see what happens with Anthony Richardson, who's been tossed back into the lineup. Chris Ballard, I like as a GM. I don't know if he's going to be long for this job. And then you got Jim Irsay. Yeah. The Jaguars, I actually like how Shad Khan operates things. Trent Baalke's whatever. Trevor Lawrence, I don't know. The Raiders, you got Aiden O'Connell. He's not going to be the guy. Tom Telesco's whatever. And then, of course, you got the Mark Davis. So, I don't know. The Giants, the Giants one is interesting. Because I actually think that there could be something there with the Giants. I love me some Brian Burns. You got sexy Dexy Lawrence on the defensive line as well. And you're going to get rid of Daniel Jones. And you're probably going to have a high draft pick, if not the number one pick. So that's interesting. Joe Shane's probably going to be gone. And Mara and Tish, like, they're owners who have seen Super Bowl winning teams. So that's something that could be interesting. But also, do they bring Belichick back to the Giants? I mean, that could be it could be a, hey, Belichick is team president, and then Flores is head coach. That could work. Shoot, that's a good idea. And then the Bucks, you got Baker. Jay Slick is a fine GM, and the Glazers have won a Super Bowl for. So I don't know, but overall, like, there isn't any single job outside maybe the Giants that just pops out and be like, yes, have to have that. And what's great, like we said, is that Flores has earned the right to be selective about his next spot because, like I said, the Miami thing wasn't all negatives, but some of the positives are you learn what not to do, right? And I know that he took the Dolphins job because he was a hot commodity, and it's one of 32 jobs, but he doesn't have to take a job just to take a job. And he's building a fantastic, potentially great, like entering the history as an all-time great defense if they can put together for a couple of years. And the Vikings, they're going to have a shot of big-time success here over the next couple seasons if Flores stays in the fold. Now, yes, he absolutely should be taken care of. Same thing with his family. Like, we're talking about highest-paid assistant in the league. Talk about on par with some head coaching jobs, and I'm perfectly fine with that. There's no salary cap with coaches, and the Wilfs, they aren't afraid of spending money on the team. That's one of the things that you should love about Vikings ownership is that they will invest in the squad. So I selfishly would love if Flores stays here for a couple of seasons. It wouldn't shock me at all if he gets a couple of interviews and maybe it's not the right fit for him or other way, but I don't know. But I just love him, man. I just love the way that this defense has gotten after things. Last couple of years of Zimmer and also the Donachelle year, those just embarrassing, right? Just playing tough, fast, physical football and just getting after it. That's exactly what Flores has done, and hopefully he can stay here for the next couple of years and is taken care of, and then gets his dream job, preferably outside of the division and the conference. That's it. But your thoughts are thoughts. Brian Flores' future. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, his thoughts. Comment section. You know what to do. Skull production value.